Imagine for a second, a world where broccoli tasted like Ben & Jerry's and kale felt like a warm glazed donut. We'd all be Olympic athletes by default, right? But instead, we live in a cruel reality where the things that make our taste buds sing are the same things that make our arteries scream. It feels like a design flaw, a cosmic joke played on humanity. Why would nature make healthy taste like dirt and deadly taste like heaven? To understand this tragedy, you have to realize that your brain is a piece of hardware designed 50,000 years ago. Back then, calories were the ultimate currency. If you stumbled upon a hive of wild honey or a fatty piece of meat, you didn't count calories. You ate until you were sick because you didn't know when your next meal would arrive. In the savannah, sugar and fat were synonyms for survival. So, your brain developed a high-speed reward system. The moment that hit of glucose touches your tongue, your brain releases a flood of dopamine, the feel-good chemical. It's essentially your brain giving you a gold star and saying, "Yeah, good job, human, you found energy. Eat more of this so we don't starve to death during the next frost." The problem? The frost never came. We traded the dangerous savannah for a 24-hour convenience store. Our environment changed in the blink of an eye, but our biological hardware is still stuck in the Pleistocene. To your 50,000-year-old brain, a double fudge sundae isn't a heart attack in a bowl. It's a life-saving energy reserve. It doesn't know that sugar is now everywhere. It's still acting like every bite might be its last. This is why your willpower fails at 11 p.m. in front of the freezer. You aren't fighting a lack of discipline. You're fighting millions of years of evolutionary momentum. Your tongue is a lying salesman, and your brain is an eager accomplice in a crime against your own health. In this episode, we're going to find out why our internal GPS is leading us straight into a sugar-coated trap, and how we can stop being slaves to our own prehistoric cravings. I'm Abel, and let's find out why your brain is trying to kill you with kindness. If you think your love for cheesecake is just a sweet tooth, I have some bad news for you. You aren't just a fan of dessert, you're an addict. Neurologically speaking, sugar affects your brain in ways that are eerily similar to substances like cocaine. When you take that first bite of a fudge brownie, your brain's reward center, the nucleus accumbens, doesn't just light up, it explodes. Dopamine floods your system, creating a high that tells your brain, this is the most important thing happening in your life right now. But here's the catch. The brain is a master of balance. To protect itself from this sudden surge of pleasure, it starts to downregulate. It reduces the number of dopamine receptors. It's like the brain is turning down the volume because the music is too loud. The result? Tolerance. The next time you eat that brownie, it doesn't taste as heavenly. You need 2 brownies to get the same hit. Then 3. Then a whole pint of ice cream. You're no longer eating for pleasure. You're eating just to feel normal again. You've successfully turned your 3-pound organ into a sugar-seeking missile that ignores your stomach's "I'm full" signals. This is where leptin comes into play, or rather, where it fails. Leptin is the hormone that tells your brain, stop eating, you're full. But sugar, specifically fructose, is a master of disguise. It interferes with leptin signaling. It's like a hacker cutting the brake lines of your car while you're speeding down a mountain of donuts. Your body has plenty of energy stored, but your brain thinks it's starving. So, the food industry didn't just stumble upon a tasty recipe, they engineered a cycle of dependency. They found the bliss point, the perfect ratio of sugar, salt, and fat that bypasses your biological logic and goes straight for the lizard brain. You aren't choosing what to eat anymore. Your hijacked reward system is making the decision for you. We've all said it. I'm too full for another bite of steak, but I definitely have room for cheesecake. It sounds like a cheap excuse to be a glutton, but biologically, the desert stomach is a real, documented phenomenon. It's not that your stomach magically grows a second compartment. It's that your brain decides to override your physical limits using a trick called sensory-specific satiety. Imagine you've just finished a massive plate of salty, savory pasta. Your brain is bored. The dopamine hits from the salt and carbs are slowing down. Your neurons are essentially saying, okay, we've had enough of this specific flavor profile. This is your brain's way of trying to get you to eat a balanced diet. It's signaling full because it wants you to stop eating pasta. But then, someone brings out a chocolate lava cake. Suddenly, a new set of sensory receptors is activated. The sight, the smell, and the sugar profile are completely different from the pasta. Your brain, ever the dopamine hunter, sees a fresh opportunity for a reward. It sends a signal to your stomach to relax its muscles, literally creating more physical space to accommodate the new, exciting sugar. This is the buffet trap. The more variety you have, the more you eat. Your brain never gets bored because the flavors keep changing. If you only had one type of food to eat, you'd stop much sooner. But the food industry knows this. They pack snacks with complex layers of sweet, salty, and crunchy textures to keep your brain from ever reaching that specific satiety. They want your brain to stay in a constant state of just one more. So, the next time you feel that second wind when the dessert menu arrives, realize it's not hunger, it's a dopamine heist. Your brain is gaslighting your stomach into thinking it's empty just to get another hit of glucose. You aren't listening to your body. You're listening to a bored CEO who just wants a new toy to play with. Let's find out how this constant toy seeking is literally reshaping our internal landscape. You've probably seen the slogan, "Betcha can't eat just one." It's not a challenge, it's a scientific guarantee. Welcome to the world of ultra-processed foods. These aren't just snacks. They are precision-engineered bioweapons designed to bypass your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that handles logic and self-control. Think about a potato. It has fiber, it has water, and it fills you up. But when you turn that potato into a chip, you strip away the fiber, add high-fructose corn syrup, and saturate it in a specific type of fat. You've created something that has a high caloric density but almost zero volume. Your stomach's stretch receptors, which tell you when you're physically full, never even get triggered. And then there's the vanishing caloric density. Have you ever noticed how some snacks, like cheese puffs, seem to melt in your mouth? That's not an accident. When food melts quickly, it tricks your brain into thinking the calories have vanished. Your brain thinks, wait, I didn't actually eat anything, and keeps the hunger signal on. You're consuming 1,000 calories, while your brain is still waiting for the first bite to register. This is the bliss point in action. It's the precise mathematical ratio of sugar, salt, and fat that maximizes pleasure while minimizing the signal to stop. Food scientists spend millions in labs to find this sweet spot. They aren't trying to feed you, they are trying to hook you. It's the same psychological design used in slot machines. Intermittent rewards that keep you pulling the lever, or in this case, reaching into the bag. So, stop blaming your character. Your character didn't stand a chance against $1 billion laboratory. You aren't eating a snack, you're participating in a one-sided negotiation where the food industry has already hacked your biological password. You are being hunted by your own cravings, and the predators have PhDs in chemistry. Right then, now let's see how we can finally break this cycle. So, are we doomed to be sugar-fueled puppets for the rest of our lives? Not necessarily, but you have to realize that you can't fight a 50,000-year-old survival instinct with just willpower. That's like bringing a toothpick to a tank fight. You have to use biological counterintelligence. You need to stop trying to overpower your brain and start retraining it. The first step is the 2-week reset. Your taste buds are incredibly resilient. They regenerate every 10 to 14 days. If you can lower your sugar and salt intake for just 2 weeks, your brain's bliss points actually shifts. Suddenly, a plain apple starts to taste like a flavor explosion. And that super-processed donut starts to taste like what it actually is, a chemical wax puck. Secondly, understand the environment design. Your brain is a lazy executive. It chooses the easiest available reward. If there's ice cream in the freezer, your brain has already eaten it in its mind. Don't test your self-control at 11 p.m. Test it at the grocery store. If it doesn't cross your threshold, it doesn't enter your Steven slot working memory as an option. Most importantly, forgive your prehistoric hardware. When you feel that intense craving, acknowledge it. Tell yourself, that's just my inner caveman worried about a winter that will never come. By labeling the craving as a biological relic rather than a personal failure, you take the emotional power away from the sugar. You aren't weak. You're just well-equipped for a world that no longer exists. Nature gave us a reward system to keep us alive, not to keep us profitable for food corporations. It's time to take the remote back from the flavor chemists. Eat food that looks like it did when it came out of the ground, and your brain will eventually remember what real satisfaction feels like. I'm Abel, and I'll see you in the next reality, hopefully with a better snack. See ya.